Hey everybody, welcome. It is He Who Knits. I am Steve, and today's video, although I've kind of ended up being about a week late here, I wanted to bring you my yarn haul and general thoughts about Maryland Sheep and Wool 2022, which was just this past weekend. And when I dig out my official brochure from the weekend, I will put that up here in front of you. In fact, here it is, Sheep and Wool, Maryland. That is the program from this year. You can see that. Lots of good information. So, hi, fellow Sheep and Wool folks, if you were there. So quickly, I'll tell you about this. The weather, not great for this weekend. Saturday was rainy and cold and windy, and there was muck and mush and general soakedness everywhere, but didn't stop people from coming. I don't know what the official numbers are or anything for the weekend, but really nice crowd, and I got there first thing. Generally a pretty good parking spot right near the entrance. I waited in line for just a couple minutes, but they had somebody coming out scanning pre-purchased tickets, and then once the line started moving, I was in no time, within a few minutes of opening at 8:30 in the morning. So I spent the better part of the morning there, and then the next day, Sunday, I went back, and I found less crowd early in the morning. I don't really know why, but no rain on Sunday. However, it was colder, hence this. So this is my official Sheep and Wool hoodie. Really nice purchase here. I like this a lot, and especially because of this. So the first day I went, and I just had kind of a light poncho on. But when I went back on Sunday, I knew it was cold. It was very cold, and I needed something in order to be able to walk around the whole time. I kind of underestimated the weather, and I didn't bring anything super warm with me for the weekend. You know, May, who knew that it would be super cold and nasty outside, but there it is. So that is my Sheep and Wool Festival. Really nice zip-up hoodie. Nothing on the back of it, just the little logo here on the front, but really comfortable and really soft. I love it. I'm gonna keep wearing it. So anyway, anything else? The food was good. I had a little bit of the food there. Your traditional festival fare with a little bit of a Maryland twist to it. Pit beef is big in Maryland. They had a lot of lamb type of food there as well. And then lots of stuff for non-carnivores out there. Anyway, that's kind of it. I don't want to get into too much. Everybody had their own experience at the show. There are probably other videos that you can watch that people kind of vlog the whole thing, but that's my take on it. And now I'll get to what we've all been waiting for, honestly, right? My yarn haul. So the way that it was kind of set up, there were a bunch of outlier little areas. Then there was a series of maybe 4 larger tents set up with vendors. And then there was the main exhibition hall with a ton of vendors. So my first day, I was there for a few hours, and I really only had time to hit up some of the outliers and those 4 bigger tents. So here's what happened the first day. My very first official purchase at the whole place wasn't even yarn. So I went to this really cool little tent, and let me see if I can find what's the best one to show you here. First, I'll go ahead and show you the hat. And by the way, if I neglect to mention the vendor or the type of yarn or any of that information, please send me a message, a comment, something like that, asking me specifically what it was, and I will be more than happy to tell you the brand, the type, all of that good stuff. I have the book here for further reference, just in case I need to go back and consult this for any reason. And let me just take a look here at yeah, so I have pretty much all the information in here that anybody would possibly want. So again, so this is a place called Green Owl Pharmacy, F-A-R pharmacy, not like the medicine kind. But I love the logo. I love the people working there, and they had a bunch of different stuff, some wooden stuff, some really big spools and spindles and things like that. So a lot of woodcraft there too. But I mean, come on, that logo, that's cool, right? So I got a hat out of that. And then the other purchase that I made there were these little stitch markers. I'm going to hold them up. So this one says, shh, I'm counting. Hopefully we focus here. But you can see that each little marker has a different little design on it. I think this one is mostly sheep. And my other one is just counting sheep, of course. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we focus a little bit better there on this. And these, again, are mostly sheep as well. They had all different kinds of these, more pop culture-y things, but I like the sheep, so I got 2 sets of these little stitch markers. I thought they were really cool. I am constantly breaking the little plastic stitch markers, especially on a sweater project or something where I have to keep moving them. So these look like really nice quality. I'm going to give them a try. So that was my very first purchase of the whole place. Next, and this goes into kind of one of my problems when I'm surrounded by yarn. If it looks cool, even though I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to buy it. And so this was Dyed Dreams. They're from Rockville, Maryland. I'll show you the tag up close. And you can see this color right up close there. This is Autumn. And this is a wool blend, mohair wool. And as you can see here, there was pretty good discount on this wool. So it was kind of maybe some leftover of this particular dye. So I grabbed them both. I really liked them. And I mean, that's a lot of yardage I have here. So maybe a scarf and hat set, something like that. It's a nice worsted weight yarn. But I really like the blend. It's very fall. So as it says, autumn. So I'm going to make something out of that. Something. We'll see. All right. First day, I think I actually did more looking the first day than actually buying. But I will say that one of my favorite purchases from the whole weekend came on that day. And if you've seen my previous videos, you know that currently I am embroiled in a 4-sweater marathon project. I will have an update video on my sweaters coming around soon, as I am just putting the finishing touches on this one. So if you've seen some of my videos, then you know what I'm talking about, but I'll be back with that later. Anyway, planning ahead, I knew that I wanted to do more sweaters, especially because some of the first sweaters I did, honestly, were just not really practice sweaters, but kind of a learning process. So not totally happy with the way some of them turned out, which means that I've learned things that I'm making better sweaters these days. So I bought this for one of my next sweater projects. I'll show that up close. So, beautiful chocolate color in there. And this, it looks like a blue, but it's actually a gray. This is all undyed natural wool. So you've got a gray that almost looks blue mixed in with that chocolate brown. And this is alpaca. It's all alpaca yarn. So, you can see my collection of this. I'm going to make a nice basic alpaca sweater out of this. I think the coloring alone is going to give it all of the character it needs. I'm going to turn this around for you. Deli's Delights Farm, and they are in Virginia. So again, if you have questions on specific vendors and things like that, ask me the question. I'll be happy. I'm not going to dwell on all of that right now, but this is unbelievably soft. I think that I'm going to be wearing this sweater a lot once I get it done. So stay tuned on that one. So that was day one. And I knew that I had other things to look at on previous days. I was hoping the weather would be a little bit better. It kind of was. No rain the second day, but as I said, colder. Once I got this though, the second day was a breeze. So first day in, I kind of had the lay of the land. I went back to my hotel. I looked over my program. I kind of checked out what I wanted to do. Also, you know, some of that time, you probably wonder how I spent that much time there the first day, a few hours, and only bought that much yarn. Well, first of all, number one, I like to think some of it was restraint. I don't have a lot of that when it comes to yarn, but secondly, it's the people. So you're not necessarily there to network, although I suppose you could do that. But it's really just about meeting the people and talking. And I found myself talking to all kinds of people who did all kinds of different things throughout the day. And you just get caught up in that. And that's really how the time passes. You talk to vendors, you talk to other people there. I talked to some other really amazing vendors. And I have a whole bag full of business cards. And I've already gone on to my Instagram and followed all of those people as well. Some great art, and I actually ran into some folks, Flying Fibers, and they're pretty close by to where I live. They're located down in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Five Sisters Farm out there as well. So I ran into them and had a nice chat with them. So it was really good to see them again. Anyway, day one. So day two, as I said, no rain, but colder, and I went to work. Oh, sorry. I did buy one more thing on day one, and it was pretty situational, although I had kind of been looking for this. And I have a feeling that a lot of people were selling socks on that first day because everybody was stepping in puddles and getting their shoes and socks wet. So I too bought socks, some alpaca socks. You can see that kind of what the inside looks like, and they are wonderful. I wore them back out there the second day because they were so amazing. Getting into weather where I'm probably not going to touch my feet with these again for a few months because they are so warm, but amazing socks. And that's where I'll start because the second day I went back and I knew after putting those on my feet that I wanted more. So I did get more. I got a second pair of alpaca socks. And this is actually a blend. It's alpaca and merino. But you can see their Phoenix Fiber Mill and lots of great products there. Not just socks, but all kinds of varieties of socks and other things. So that's day two. And I did pick up some sock yarn. I think I've documented before that I kind of have a soft spot for sock yarn, and I think a lot of people do. It's like eye candy, right? You see a cool sock yarn, you want to have it. And that's about it. So I did, in fact, on the second day, buy a few sock yarns. And I think that's where I will start. So I went to a booth called Kim Dyes Yarn. And this is mostly merino. This one, again, this is a Virginia company, as you can see here, hopefully. And so this color is called Moody Forest, and she had this color in a couple of different weights, but hopefully you can see there we go. It kind of has some olive tones to it, maybe some purple, things like that. And I had gotten, and again, another video, I had gotten some yarn with a similar color to this, and I was planning on doing a sweater vest with it. Ended up having trouble getting the rest of that yarn, so that project is off. But socks, this will certainly be. And again, just great talking to vendors. This is another one where I was there talking for a while. Just part of the appeal of the show. Okay, second sock yarn. One of the things that I like to look out for, and it's fun to look out for, is yarns that are dyed specifically for certain events. And so there were vendors there that had yarns dyed specifically for Maryland sheep and wool. And this was one of them. This is Miss Babs. I don't know if you can see Miss Babs here. And so this one is, where is it? Kite Surfing. That's the name of this color. And you can see this is just a very, very summery, beachy type of look. A little bit of color mixed in there, but mostly it's this really great bright blue. So couldn't pass that one up. I've got that. And then my third, and I think this is my last sock yarn that I ended up with from the weekend. Got to check behind me because you never know. This one was really interesting too. Into the World, WHIRLED, World, is the name of the yarn dye here. And so this color is actually called Vampires of Venice. So any of my fellow nerds out there, anybody who watched me make Doctor Who TARDIS socks and other things like that, maybe if you're devoted, you'll recognize that Vampires of Venice was in fact the name of a Doctor Who episode. And so most of the dies that they had here in their booth were inspired by sci-fi themed type of things, and I thought that was really cool. So I really love this color. A lot of great colors here, and I had a hard time choosing, but this one just really stood out. They had something made out of this sitting around, and I really liked the way that it knitted out. So again, that's that blend right there. So that's it. And all things considered, if I'm being honest, walking out of there with just 3 sock yarns was probably a win. So, all right. Next up, there's my part of my stack of business cards. One that I want to show you. This is an artist that was there, and you can see that here, Sheep Incognito, and it's hard to see. I apologize for that. Look them up online. Really, really cool. Ew. Hard to see. Anyway, I apologize for that. Just really cool sheep-related art. And that's all I can really say about it. There was a Silence of the Lambs. That was really funny. Probably my favorite there. Anyway, go check her out. I'm not going to flash all the rest of my business cards because that would take way too long. But I think we are down here now to my last purchase of the weekend. Again, I really had to kind of control myself. So you remember that sweater yarn. They also had a black with a little bit of gray mixed in that I had never seen before. And I almost went back the second day and bought a bunch of that to make a sweater. But again, a little bit of self-control. But I did find one more for my next sweater too. So I got 2 sweater projects here in all. And this was in the main exhibit hall again. And actually the very first booth I saw in that main exhibit hall, Jill Draper. And it's called Jill Makes Stuff. So this is a 100% Targhee wool. And I believe we have here Kingston. So I own nothing else like this color. I've never used anything like this color before. And just the touch of that. So there you go. You see it up close. And I just thought that would make a really nice, unique sweater. Again, I think I'm planning on, just like the other sweater yarn that I bought, just kind of going with a more basic sweater pattern because I really just want this yarn to be the star, not necessarily cables or anything else crazy about that. So, gotta smell it. One of the great things about being there is smelling all the yarn. Does that make me weird? I don't think so. So, this is DK weight actually. So, the merino, the alpaca that I bought earlier, that was also a DK, just in case you're wondering. So I'm going to try to work with a couple of light sweaters. A lot of the other sweaters I've been working on were a little bit heavier. I wanted something lighter, something I could wear maybe a little bit earlier in the fall, something a little bit later in the spring. And so this, I think, is going to be great. This one was another one where I probably could have walked out with maybe 3 or 4 other sweater projects because the yarn they have is amazing, and I will definitely be looking for them again. And one of the nice things, if you're able to do it, Maryland Sheep and Wool, I'm kind of right in between that and Rhinebeck, New York Sheep and Yarn Festival that's coming up in the fall. I am going to head up there for at least one day, maybe both days, so if you're going to head up there, let me know. If you were at Maryland, let me know. So again, one of the great things is a lot of the vendors go to both. So if you do grab something you really like and you get a chance to work with it, and you decide you want more, you want something different from them, you're probably going to get the chance to do that. But business cards, keep in touch with those folks. Everybody wants you to keep in touch. A lot of people really enjoy seeing what you make with their yarn and their materials. So keep that in mind too. And apparently I qualified for the price point with my sweater purchase for a tote. And so that's the tote from Jill Makes Stuff, Jill Draper. It says make something. And if you look really closely, you can see that those are knit stitches on here. Just printed on there though. So you've got the website on there. as well. That's it. That's my yarn haul. Could have been a lot bigger, but all things considered, I wanted to make sure that I walked out of there with yarn that I really liked, stuff that I was going to use for the most part. And aside from this beautiful autumn blend, I pretty much know what I'm going to do with all of it. So that's kind of a plus too. Again, if you have any questions on any of this yarn, where it came from, who it is, what it is, all of that great stuff, what it feels like, what it smells like, ask me those questions and I will be sure to get back to you. If I'm going to see you at Rhinebeck, please let me know. I'll be happy to talk some knitting if you are there. I have all these too if you're interested in anybody else that I personally like that I maybe didn't buy yarn from. Happy to share that list as well, kind of just as recommendations. And that's it. Thanks for coming by today. Again, I will have a sweater update really soon, I promise. I plan on actually finishing this up. I'm making this video currently in the AM of whichever day this happens to be, and I plan on finishing this up. All I have to do is seam the arms. So finishing that up today, and I should have another video really soon showing you my first finished sweater of those 4 that I had started months ago. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.